It's Friday, and we're getting close to a patch, right? So you know the type of show. Hello, YouTubers. This is the noobifier. On the 3rd of May, 2024, there's an hour-long starcitizen live all about 3.23, the patch that's been covered and recovered for such a long time, and I didn't know if any of this information would be actually seen as new, but here's what you need to know. Today we had 3 team leads, Rich, Rick, and Johnny. The 3 people who will take credit when it works, and the same 3 people who will blame the staff when it does not. That was a joke. They would be answering our questions from Live and Spectrum. They began by quickly speaking about the transition for some team structures from Squadron 42 to the PU, and Rich confirmed that yes, they are 2 games, but because they share a similar core, it's not that hard to switch focus between the 2. All 3 of these people work closely together, but each have completely unique responsibilities. They confirmed that they do collaborate very often to ensure that the focus is homogeneous and in keeping with what Chris wants. Tasks often blend between many disciplines, so they said it's very rare that a day goes by where they don't collaborate on something. They confirmed that 3.23 will not be coming out today, but Rich smiled a little bit, so I don't think it's coming out. With all of the planned creatures, such as whales, etc., chat wanted to know why the 2 that were confirmed yesterday were the ones that were chosen. We were told that they represent a good starting point to build and test, then build from those in the future for others. Rich confirmed that basic creatures can operate on very simple AI, but that the creatures they're working on are expected to have much more complex personality and therefore better AI. Chat wanted to know about the state of the economy for 3.23. Prices have been adjusted in an attempt to get closer to what might be considered as a balance for release. Quality, material, and cost to produce are all being considered. High tech or rare obviously comes with a higher cost. Larger items, such as ships, will cost more. But if that ship is a cargo ship and a moneymaker, it might be more expensive than a ship with less earning potential, such as an 890 jump. And they weren't specifically using that as an example, but it's in general. That's the idea. Mission rewards are being adjusted based on risk, time, and cost, something we already expect. And then Jared confirmed that that would not be a one and done for 3.23, that the balance would be an ongoing process. Rich confirmed that he hates the title of quantum to describe the AI system for subsumption because it's a word that's used elsewhere in the game and it's super confusing. So he said he's going to work on trying to figure out a different way to describe that system. They're thinking about if a wipe is required for 3.23, and they said that they will likely wipe because it's deemed that many players are hoarding huge stockpiles of credit, which would immediately imbalance a test focus. They spoke about the Sniper Glen for about 5 minutes. They were talking about Death of a Spaceman and all of it. But they never said it was going away, and they said likely because of the community pressure that they may use muzzle flash or some other thing. But the way I read that is that it's not going away, because if it was going to be changed or they were willing to change, they would have simply said, yeah, we're looking into something else and this is just a placeholder. So that's my opinion, and that's not something that was said by the guests of the show. External scanning works as intended, and there's currently no way to scan inside a ship, but they said that FPS scanning is still planned and should do that. Master modes has been discussed in great detail, and chat wanted to know where the idea came from and what this thing is supposed to fix. Rich said that the flight model evolves to suit the way Chris wants the game to feel, and combat jousting. He said specifically jousting was a big problem. Rich acknowledged that this is a hugely divisive topic. He said they never set out to make the game easier to play or to dumb down the experience. Rich confirmed that they're likely on version 24 of Master Modes for 3.23, and that they're still planning on certain tweaks on how to make it work better in the future. A single flight model that works for all ships regardless of the purpose or capability. He said that he's been playing it in Squadron 42 for a long time, and he says the more you use it, the more you get used to it. The claim was made that 3.23 was the biggest patch in CIG history. Jared asked Rich if 3.23 was too much for one patch, and Rich said that this number of items work together and it should be added all at once versus adding it here and there over several patches. So it sounds as if the answer to Jared is no, it wasn't too much. Rich then spoke for 15 minutes explaining how all of the new systems are performing and balanced and what the developer wants to do, which is to add new features for testing against the risk of completely breaking the game, which makes sense. The The focus then switched to the future, so your cargo elevators, your personal elevators. Rich confirmed that the dev build seems to be working, but it has issues that are still being worked on. These features were held back because they are core to the game. You cannot spawn a ship or get an item if this new thing isn't working. So whenever the .x patch is dropped, there will be an opportunity to reset your starting point with the character reset feature, but that will also zero out your process, so that's not recommended. They recommended that if you do not have an opportunity to change your new starting location, then you should move your stuff manually if you do not want to lose everything. Grimhex as a starting location is located on the dev build, but there are things that they need to consider before releasing that to the public, such as what if a new player happens to start at Grimhex and they get blown up all the time. They confirmed that thousands and thousands of hours had been invested towards Theater of War over the years, but the focus is now onto AC. So it sounds like, or it sounds as if Theaters of War is indeed internally dead, which, fuck, we knew that for years, right? They just never said anything. So despite no official word on it and Todd Pappy having moved on, that was his baby, so that all does kind of make sense, right? The three confirmed that they also spend lots of times simply playing their own game to decide if a patch is ready for live. They confirmed bed logging is still a thing and it'll come with a buff for rest. That's it. Thanks very much for spending your time with me. It was a big one. Please like and share. It matters to me. Okay? Fly safe and I'll see you in the verse.